I wanted to thank you for joining me in this episode of Doing Insurance Right. I'm your host, Scott Jenkins, and today we're going to be talking about an umbrella policy and what it means and what it does for yourself and for your family. So an umbrella policy is pretty much an overlying policy on top of your auto, home, watercraft, motorcycles, any toys you have, anything basically that you can get, to put it simply, get sued on if there's an issue. So to kind of explain how an umbrella works, first of all, let's take it with an auto policy. So let's say you were involved in an automobile accident. You were the driver. There was one other person that you injured. You had, for example, $500,000 worth of coverage on your automobile policy. They were injured pretty badly. They went to the hospital. They were there. They had several surgeries. Let's say they went through the $500,000 relatively quickly. Then it would go to your umbrella policy after that. Basically, you have your underlying policy that takes care of everything first, and then your umbrella policy that would take care of everything after the fact. So, for example, if you had a $2 million umbrella and there was $2.2 million worth of bodily injury to another person, the $500,000 would come from bodily injury of your auto, and then $1.7 million would come from your umbrella policy. Now, a lot of people think that only the rich people need umbrella policies. With the way that lawsuits in the states are set up, that's not necessarily true, because it's not only assets you have now, but it's also considering future assets. So when we consider future assets like a percentage of gross annual income, umbrella policies are becoming more and more important for a majority of our clients here today. So just something to keep in mind when you're doing your asset assessment that we did in a previous episode, that you take a look at that, and if we're over the amount that is allotted for bodily injury in the car, then we definitely need to look at an umbrella policy to take care of the rest. You know, if we have $1.5 million in future assets, don't just get $1.5 million in coverage. Maybe bump that up to $2.5 million in coverage. As assets tend to grow, future earnings can also grow. We can always bring that down if there was a loss of job, a demotion in job, something to that effect that would have us with less assets, or if we needed to start, if we were spending part of our retirement, if we hit retirement age. But especially while getting to that point, it's probably wise to make sure we have more than enough there. Not to say we need $10 million there, but probably $2 million in that particular case would be welcome. Now, the same thing is going to rely on our boat policy, our home policy. So if, for example, if we had $1 million worth of home coverage and a $2 million umbrella, if we were sued, that means we do have up to $3 million total coverage in case of that lawsuit to protect ourselves and our family. So basically, remember, the underlying policy pays first and then the umbrella policy after that. So you'll notice when you're getting these $1 million worth of coverage for multiple vehicles, home and watercraft and motorcycles, that you'll notice that the cost is not that high. And the reason being is that the underlying policies are the one that are at risk first. So there is a lot less likelihood of reaching that umbrella coverage. But we buy insurance for what? We buy insurance for coverage, not payment, to make sure that if the bad or the tragic does happen, that we do have plenty of coverage to make sure that we are covered in case of that tragic accident. So I wanted to thank everybody for coming by today and taking a listen to what an umbrella policy is and how it does react and how it acts. I also wanted to thank everybody so far that has rated or subscribed to the podcast. I do appreciate it. I do need all of your folks' help out there. If you could rate, review, or subscribe to the podcast, so when a new podcast comes out, you do get notified to whatever platform that you're listening on, whether it be podcasts on Apple, whether it be Google Play, whether it be Spotify, whether it be Stitcher. Please feel free to do that for me. I would greatly appreciate it. And I look forward to talking with you on the next episode.